Hi everybody and welcome back to our channel. I was not planning on recording a video today, but I saw an article pop up on MSN and I decided I needed to share it with you all. It is called I hyphenated my last name after getting married to honor my identity. It only created more problems. I have a special interest in this because I hyphenated my last name. I'm going to read this post, I'm going to share my thoughts, and then I hope that you all share your thoughts with me in the comments. At 19, I had the shocking discovery that not only did I have a different name when I was born, but that I was adopted from Colombia. When I was born, my name was Elisa Contreras Nieves, a name given to me by FANA, a foundation for the adoption of abandoned children in Bogota, Colombia. While it is weird to think that strangers named me and not my mother, it was nevertheless my name, one of the few ties to my birth mom and country. Like many adoptees, my parents decided to change my name to something they preferred. Luckily, my mom liked my first name and only slightly changed Elisa. I totally disagree with adopting a child from a different country and from a different culture and changing their name because it's too hard for you to say or it's not something that you like the sound of. Their name could have a beautiful meaning in that other language. Your name is the most intimate and most important part of your identity a lot of times. I did, however, lose my Latino last name to Guira or Gira, my father's very Italian name, which eventually led to years of racial ambiguity where people were constantly asking, "What are you?" I have thoughts on this too. I will come back to them. While I proudly wore it, the world questioned my ownership of a name that didn't quite match the face of what people expected to see. From cultural events at school to repping his name in a vibrant green, white, and red Italian soccer jersey during the World Cup, to winning awards in the Italian Honor Society with Gira proudly across the certificates, my identity was fully tied up in a name that didn't quite fit me. It's not a very common name, at least that I've heard, and I'm from New Jersey where the Italians are just very prevalent. So I would ask, hey, that's a really interesting last name. If her parents had been honest and open with her from the beginning about what her ethnic background was, she could have very easily said, "I'm Colombian, but I was adopted by my Italian parents." It's not that hard. Growing up in an immigrant American family, I was taught the importance of family and culture. The struggles our family had before immigrating and achieving the ideal American dream came with prejudice that my father never let me forget. My father's heavy accent and name immediately signaled him out in school, where the teachers called him the slur Guinea, which was one reason he pushed me so hard to represent not only his name, but his Italian culture. The slur of Guinea is something I've never heard before, so I'm going to Google it and figure out what it is. I didn't do a super in-depth investigation, so if you're Italian or you know more about this, feel free to educate me in the comments. Google's AI response is telling me the term Guinea is an extremely offensive ethnic slur for a person of Italian descent. The insult is considered particularly vile because of its history rooted in anti-Black racism, suggesting that Italians are less than white. I wonder if there was a bit of colorism there, or there was even a bit of trying to knock the Guinea, quote unquote, out of their adopted daughter so that she wouldn't be a disappointment or a letdown to her Italian family. Okay, so now we get to the point where this woman got married and she hyphenated both last names. Being the first in my immediate family to graduate from high school and college meant my name, our name, was featured proudly in the program they handed out at graduation. My father had framed one in a beautiful plaque that hangs proudly in my home office. So when it came time to get married, I knew what I had to do. Changing my last name almost seemed too simple. I filled out my marriage certificate and carefully wrote Gira Richards to tie my old and new life. Now that she has given us the background of her family essentially pushing an Italian identity on her, I can understand how there's this forced importance of the last name, especially if you're the first generation forging a path in the United States. Now, I knew each change in documents and credit cards could add up to quite a few, but I didn't expect everyday activities to become a lot more difficult due to the simple addition of a little hyphen and my husband's last name. When I would go to the pharmacy to pick up medication, suddenly there were difficulties in finding me in the system. Due to the hyphenated name, locating me in the system was now a challenge. And when you must pick up multiple medications throughout the month to manage your chronic illness, each of these interactions starts to add up. Over the next few years, I questioned my decision every single time an issue arose. While it is completely legal to add a hyphen to your name, it does not mean that it is an available choice when filling out an array of forms or inputting your information in computer systems at the doctor, pharmacist, or even DMV, which is the Department of Motor Vehicles. This led to inconsistency across records and difficulty in my professional life. The first thing that comes to mind for me here is that if you notice that there are inconsistencies, shouldn't you be correcting them as you go? I've had people write my name incorrectly, and when I get the documentation, I say, hey, this is not my name. This is my license, or this is my paperwork. This is the correct spelling of my name. Can you fix it? Especially with my last name. I'm talking about my maiden last name, and I'm from the United States. So whenever somebody makes a mistake, you should just go up and be like, hey, this isn't it. Like, can you fix it? When I got married, I was worried that embracing my husband's name would somehow erase my family ties. Completely changing was something I just couldn't get on board with until I spent years unpacking my identity in therapy. Now that I have realized it's okay not to like it anymore. People change, we adapt, we grow, and sometimes our names need to change, which is why I will save up to do just that. So her actual name is Melissa, not Elisa, the way that it was when she was in Colombia. I have multiple thoughts on this article. I don't think it's about her changing her name so much as it is about like the identity crisis that she is having. And I don't think the identity crisis is due to her having an original name that was changed to another name that then got changed when she got married. I think it can all boil down to your adopted parents not being straight up and honest with you from the beginning. I don't know the adoption process, but I think that if you are going to take the step of looking outside of your home country to adopt a child from another country and then take them into your home and supposedly love them for who they are, you should also receive training on what transracial, transcultural adoptions are like and how to respect the identity that your child came with before they ended up in your possession, for lack of a better way of putting it. This lady was apparently a baby when this happened, but imagine the number of children who make it to another country, adopted, and then are told that's not your name anymore. That it makes me so upset. There's comments on this article from some really ignorant people like, I don't understand how you could have a hard time reconciling your identities if you didn't find out till you're 19. Okay, so apply that to somebody who just found out that their dad is not their biological father. It's the person who raised them when they turn 19 or when they go to do blood work or donate a kidney or whatever. That's traumatizing. And then you've got this Pandora's box that's been flayed wide open, and you feel like you want to get to the root of this piece of you that you never identified before. So I don't think her reaction in wanting to preserve a part of her or have control over a part of her identity because she didn't before, I don't think that that's irrational. But I do think that her intentions were probably misguided. So I'd love to hear from you all. Do you feel like I'm being too harsh? Is there something you think I'm overlooking or not looking into critically enough? This is really interesting to me, so I hope that you found it interesting as well. As we always say on our channel, remember that with God, all things are possible, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.